Hello, everyone. Welcome to another week and another read. As I'm recording this, it's already Wednesday, so we are going to do the abridged version, but sometimes that just works out just as it needs to be, right? Yeah, let's talk a bit about this week. Usually, when I come into this, there's some stuff going on, or I get a little bit of a hit or an inkling of what we're going to talk about, but just kind of winging it today because I've got a couple notes, but we'll just go over it. So there's just I think we're just in that post solstice energies. Um, it's not really calm or tumultuous. There's lots going on in the world, of course. Um, but we're gonna, I think approach this next period of summer and time, um, just by looking at the different seasons we're heading into and where the planets are sitting. Um, it's we're heading back into more uh, really strong self care, but not just about self care. So, like the first thing that's happening, obviously, was we've just moved into Cancer season. So Cancer tends to be more about our emotional base. It does have a little bit to do with our intuition, and it's a lot about like our mothering side. And that's not necessarily mothering others. And it looks like in this season, it's going to be about um, nurturing and mothering ourselves. So lots of things to kind of go through. So with Cancer season, it's working on our loyalty to ourself, nurturing our body, honoring our feelings, using our intuition. We're also, Venus is heading into its shadow period before it goes retrograde uh, soon. I don't remember the exact date. Anyway, Venus shadow, um, this is a time to increase our self worth or believe more in ourselves, allow self to feel beauty and beautiful, um, clear, get clear around what we value in life. There's also a bit in there about organized finances. Just make sure you're, in your optimal position. And then today, Neptune went into retrograde. Um, so Neptune's a lot about seeing again below the surface of things. It's a little more about the spiritual side of things. So definitely a veil has been lifted a little bit. Um, so with that, definitely sensing, you know, um, that a reality check is coming in about this earth and what's going on. Truths are still being revealed. That's going to keep continuing. Um, with those reality checks and those truths coming in, there will be a lot of lessons around unconditional love. And what I mean by that is that, you know, yeah, there's it's going to involve people, right? And do we, you know, we we don't want to spew more hate in this world, so it's time to we have to unconditionally love people and forgive. It's going to be a really hard one for some of the things, right? But our job is just to keep raising that frequency of love. Um, so yeah, we'll just all hold each other's hand and hug through that one because I think that might be a little hard. What else have we got? Yeah, it's just a time to where it's like we're rebirthing a little bit, um, but more about our creative side of things and our spiritual side of things. So it's maybe thinking about this next phase of your spiritual journey in a different creative kind of way, like how you're going to go about it. Um, I know for me, this last little couple days since the solstice has just been really like, yeah, there's really a calling to like figure things out in a new way, right? It is this proverbial trying to live in 3D, but wanting, or living in 5D and just trying to bridge that gap. But it's almost like that's not going to work either. It's not about bridging the gap, it's about just fully releasing the 3D and what's no longer serving us and moving that into that more five-dimensional living, and then seeing how that affects the journey around us. So it's not an easy process. It's a little complicated. Anyway, let's see what the cards say for the overall uh, of this week, what we're looking at. Oops. And we got the Lovers. Yeah, I see the divine in myself reflected in another. This is when I'm talking about this unconditional love that's going to have to come in. So, you know, that's the thing is like, if we can, we're going to be faced with things where, you know, in our hearts, there might be initially a lot of um, anger or fear about things. But at some point, we have to, instead of continuing the hate cycle and the fear and the negativity, is we have to shift over to love. And we have to love everything and everyone as they are and see them for what their purpose was. Everybody has a purpose in this whole thing. Whether you're benevolent or malevolent, like everybody had a role to play. And so it really just comes down to like whether that individual that just jumped right out is going to like, you know, atone for their sins, right? That is a thing. We still get to do that. Um, and then we can help with unconditional love. Okay, so we got two cards here. Reaction. This is a very Cancer card. There's lots of like things around. You know, the lotus always represents enlightenment and um, spiritual awakening, spiritual opening, spiritual journey. Um, so these truths could cause a lot of heavy emotions or sadness. As always, the most important part is, right, to let it flow, to let it go. So don't hold back. Let your emotions come out, even if it is like fear and anger to begin with. It's the same thing I kind of said last week is we need to not be staying in those lower energies, but we don't suppress them. We don't spiritual whitewash them and bypass. We have to do the work around it. So as much as it's like we felt like we were moving so far forward, we're back in a time of self care and self work again and self healing. Um, so if you can do, I think too, I just want to say like I sort of what kind of hit me in the last couple days is that it's not so much bypassing, but that I know the work that needs to be done for myself, but then I paid a lot of lip service to it, but then I didn't actually do a lot of the work. I did, little bits here and there, but I think this is next little period is asking for our full commitment and to really start spending time every day working on this stuff and ourselves. So we also got perspective. Um, always love this one because she's holding the world, but she kind of almost looks pregnant with the next. Well, it's a bunch of stars in the belly, so the birthing of this new world, new universe. Um, so it almost is definitely saying for this week, we're take a step back and look at the bigger picture again. Um, take a look at Earth. From back here and see the bigger picture of what's going on. Uh, yeah, it's just about switching perspective this week. Definitely. It's kind of like, it's almost like we need to go into a little bit of a retrograde ourselves. And when Venus goes into retrograde, that is gonna be big. It's coming up really soon. Just can't remember the date. We just talked about it with somebody. Anyway, because it is going to be all about really focusing on love, and it's in Leo that it happens too, so it's all about uh, leadership, family, love, just pure love. All right, let's look at the portal card. Yeah, okay, so this pretty much just sums up what we're supposed to be doing this week. Shambhala initiations. retreating to recharge, trusting in the process, and Dharma. Dharma is like what's the best way to explain it? It's life. It is what it is. It is the is what it is card. Um, so just allowing the plan, that's the Dharma, to unfold. So the best way that we let those things unfold is to change perspective and be the observer. So yeah, we're heading into. I'd say that it's not even going to be this week. I feel like we'll read the next couple weeks, and they'll be fairly similar coming up. So we'll just see how that works out. But this is definitely going to be more about the self love, self mastery, um, really focusing and retooling and getting creative with our spiritual journey. Um, all that other stuff is still going to be going on in the world, but step back and see the perspective of it and try to have unconditional love for all of it, for the process, for the people, um, for the earth itself. We're all going through this at the same time. And I think the thing, with Venus and its shadow and Cancer season is getting really back to nurturing the body, honoring feelings, and increasing our self-worth. That seems to be I know that's a particular one for myself. Not so much that I don't feel worthy, but I constantly do trip myself up with that, that exact phrase, I'm not worth it. We all slip into that at some point in our, in our process. So just trying to, get through that by increasing our self-worth, by knowing we're enough. And the big one is just coming back to beauty, right? To feel and see beauty out in the world, even when it's in its worst state, right? And know that there's always good behind it. At some point, it may not be revealed right away. Um, and getting out again into nature to see beauty and see the world because it is a beautiful place, and seeing ourselves as beautiful. We're kind of a miraculous entity being that came to this planet to do this work, and at a soul level, we're super beautiful. So really taking a look, looks like this week, at those sorts of things. But let's look at the day today and see what it's got to say. All right, let's have a look at. Oops, that was right away already. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Oops, cheapers, getting all stuff everywhere. Hang on, I gotta put that up. Okay, got a few here. Okay, we're gonna start with. Okay, sorry. So the first card that jumped out at us is In Perfect Harmony. So it's kind of funny because instantly what's coming is just what I already said, is like we need to like sync ourselves up into that love frequency, and see the beauty so that everything is playing together, right? To create a harmony instead of like all this discord that is going on right now with all the different voices. And that doesn't mean, again, to like we have to sway our belief to something else. This is purely about um, trying to start to see the perspective of others and ourselves and everything in a different way so that we can start building this unity symphony. Um, we have to start working on this being in perfect harmony. The way we do that always is self first, right? So it's kind of going back and making sure that you're in tune, and you're in the right frequency, you're in the right harmony, and then that will all come together. Anyway, that's what I'm getting from that card for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, I want to show these both at the same time. So this one is Healing the Heart, and this is Wish Upon a Star. Both hands are crossed across heart chakra. So this is purely saying We need to really get into heart chakra again this week and do some healing and make some like wishes and desires known. What is your heart's desire moving forward, right? Sometimes that's all we need to get uh, get clear, right? Because that came up in the Venus shadow stuff is we need to be clear around what we value. So we're still doing a lot of this work, but it's like I know it seems like we just keep doing work and keep doing work, and it's like, but this is a process, and we have to keep, you know, we have to keep this on its track. If we, if we look away and go do something for a second, it could derail. Like we're not at the point yet where we're not moving forward. So we have to keep that momentum going, but we also have to like help it guide its direction, right? At the moment, we're not, sometimes we look away or we get distracted by the outside world, which is happening a lot lately. Um, and we take our eyes off the prize and we take our eyes off the wheel. Like you wouldn't go driving down the highway and close your eyes and go, "Oh, I'm gonna eat some Cheetos right now." You could, but chances are pretty good you're gonna, you something not good is gonna happen. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, working on heart healing, getting clear, getting really clear about values and what you want to wish for. What do you wish for? What is your heart's desire? And this last card, usually I only go three, but they all popped out. They all flew out. So we're awakening genius. We're still coming into our true potential. Really third eye based. There's still intuition and awakening happening. So as those new things come in for us, we still have to integrate them, but we also have to like make them part of our current healing and process, right? So, okay, let's get a little more clarity on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the last bit of cards will be sort of the advice cards. Okay. Okay, so first up is Hawthorne, which is balance and the elemental kingdom. What the balance word is the one that's standing out the most. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday needs to be spent putting all these things back into balance, back into harmony, right? Perfect harmony. So it is about doing the work. We got problem solving, and the word with it is resolution. What I'm just getting is that, like, it's not a, it's kind of like I'm doing a meditation, but it is just asking us to be in silence and meditation a bit and allow our consciousness and brain to do some of the work, and the resolution and answer will come to us, because we also got the travel card. The words with it are journey, path, location. I never generally read the travel card as actual travel. I always see this as us being asked to do our meditation and travel beyond self for a little while. So you can go to any ley line in the world, any sacred place in your imagination, that kind of thing. I think that's the only way we're going to get some of these resolution and answers is spending time in meditation. And journey is the word on that card. So journeying to self, journey into the heart. Like do your meditation of journeying into the heart, journeying into your mind, and just seeing where it takes you. Like when you talk to in the practice of um, I'd say like Native American elders or any of the shamans uh, all over the world, when they go to do a deep meditation to get answers, it's called a journey. They do what they call as a journey. You go deep into self, into um, the the spiritual realm, and you deeply go in to get the answer from your guides and your ancestors. So looks like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. um, getting yourself back into balance, back into harmony, and and fine tuning your voice and your intuition and all of those things, so that you're in tune, so that we can be more in tune with that perfect harmony, that unity consciousness. All right, these three cards will just be about kind of advice for how we can do those things for ourselves besides deep meditations and journeys, which would be a good idea. I feel like I really need to do that, so I'm definitely going to be doing that at some point this week. Right. Okay, so first we got surrender, which is probably, I think we got this a few weeks back too, or last week. Um, I'll read it first. Sometimes learning to surrender can feel as though you're dying. The ego learns what's hardest, to stop trying to control the whole universe. Okay, so again, it's like, I also want to say, like, this raven or eagle, whatever it's meant to represent, and we do have a full moon coming up. It's about letting go completely, just surrendering to the process that the universe has. But again, the only way we gain that perspective of it, like that first card, is that we have to step back and we have to just allow it to be presented to us. The best way to sometimes do that is to be us in deep meditation or on a journey and asking your guides to show you the way. Surrender to their advice. We also got acceptance, which is radical acceptance in the now opens the flow. Again, it's the acceptance of what is. This is the period of time we are in now, and we can't keep trying to micromanage the universe to change it to the outcome that we want, right? Um, we have to present our true desires, um, and wish upon a star. And what is our heart desire? We have to present those, but we have to expect that there's, like, we're right here, right now, and what comes, and you know to get us to where we need to be. Um, okay, interesting. Individuality. Every person has their own personalized study plan in this Earth school. This is really important because I was feeling like, as I was talking, it's like I was, the perfect harmony thing was like we all need to sync up our voices together. It's not necessarily that. It's about our frequency. We need to sync our frequency up together. But you have your own plan on this earth. It's totally just what we talked about in the intro, is that we have to kind of like, it's almost like we're almost starting a new plan, um, or just retooling our plan to make sure it's including our values and our self-worth and that we're feeling beautiful. So just, it's maybe about retooling our plan a little bit, um, and like, what are we doing on this planet, and how can we raise our frequency more, and then eventually we'll all sync up. But I think we're just getting the nudge to start working on these things in terms of, getting more in tune and more connected, um, and just feeling a part of it, using your intuition, um, and just really connecting the dots first for yourself before we go and like sync up with everybody else. Um, and I would say too, like, to that, like, what's coming up is that, like, the next, like I said, it's going to be the next couple months, kind of like this through the summer, even through the Lionsgate and things like that. Um, I'm feeling like that sync up of everybody is not going to be, not required until like we head into like the fall, September, October. And so this gives you like 2, 3 months of really working on yourself. Um, first, first love yourself. First honor yourself. First know that you are worthy. And then all the rest will resolve and fall into place. So it's just really about getting back on track and doing the work. That's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Okay, let's look at the second half of the week. Yeah, honestly, it's kind of nice though. Like I'm getting the feeling from it too is like good time. It's sort of also a rest period. Um, so we're not, we're not trying to like deeply control what's going on, um, and really having to do this heavy work. It's really just perspective too. Also, just means to just be actually taking a look at it as well, right? Okay, so the rest of the week is the same all so far. Um, into me, I see again just purely about self reflection, self, finding our self worth, finding our self beauty, the beauty within us, just really taking the time to, and self loyalty keeps coming up, right? Um, Being loyal to ourselves, like who am I and what do I desire and what's my heart's desire, and not necessarily then pushing that out about like how do I get that and what am I going to do and what's my action plan, but more just honestly surrendering and putting it out to the universe. This is what I need. This is how I feel. This is what I want to see. And then just surrendering it and allowing it to come. And whatever comes in the now, it comes, right? Because we also got broken open, another heart chakra card. So it just seems like with all this energy, particularly around Venus and Cancer season, which is perfect because that's really what those two are about, is unconditional love and intuition and and loyalty and beauty and like all of these things. So really allowing ourselves to be seen to ourselves and to be in that state of love and gratitude and um, just knowing we're worthy of all of that. So again, just really working on ourselves. And the last one we got, which is super funny too, because it's such a Cancer season card too, is the Oracle's Gift. Um, to me, this is purely just saying your intuition is on, right? This is a crown chakra card connecting right to the divine. Again, so listening to the messages and the things we're being told and the things that we're seeing and but really tapping in and starting to become that intuitive um, master, right? I said at the beginning, it's about self mastery too. Self mastery has a lot to do with our intuition, um, and how we recognize that um, and how we utilize that information. So, yeah, this week is definitely really pulling us into this Venus and Cancer season and asking us to take care of ourselves and be uh, be grateful for everything we have, um, to be, to be human, go through our emotions, to uh, just really, yeah, just really connect to the divine and be a part of this, like, um, well, it's funny. So the next cards we got just as confirmation is winter, reflection, transition, and release. So we're still in this period of transition. It's a big transformation that we're going through, not just the self, but everybody on this planet. So really reflecting on, it's not so much reflecting on the past, because I feel like we've done a lot of work through these last few weeks about that. And although release is still on there, so don't don't be swayed off the track if you're like, damn it, I still haven't released this part of my past. Like we're still working on it. Don't, there's lots of time. It doesn't have an end date, like where it's like, okay, it's got to be done. It's not a deadline. There's not those things. But reflecting on it and again, seeing where things just aren't working and moving towards um, this transition that we're going through. Again, first, we also got water, which is emotions, which is these are just all Cancer season cards. It's just like water and emotions and feelings, but it's also about initiation and rejuvenation. So just knowing that, yeah, like we're in this process of still releasing some things, really getting in touch with our heart and healing our heart and knowing where we want to go, and just really self worth and self care this week. But it's funny because it keeps tying in to, again, we got amethyst, psychic abilities, behavior patterns. So really tapping in to see again what's working for you behaviorally. If something isn't, is it time to release it? Can I finally release this? But really going to your intuition for those answers. And when we say intuition too, it's like it's your higher self and your knowledge base, um, and your intuitive abilities. But that intuition always connects you in with all your guides and all your ancestors and things like that. So it's really, and straight to the divine. Like we're divinely connected, right? So it's really using your intuition in these next week or two to ask and listen for answers. We still have been asking to do this, and I feel like I don't want to speak for anybody, but I feel like I said, like I've kind of paid lip service in the last couple of weeks to doing some of this work and been like, oh yeah, kind of like 5 minutes of meditation. Oh, okay, I kind of see this and blah blah blah, but not really like delving into it and really doing some good, strong work with it. So I think we're just being asked to step it up a bit in these next couple of weeks. So if you haven't had a chance to be doing a lot of the work, I know because I feel like for me, it's like 3D completely distracts me. It's like, oh, watch this, do that, believe in this. Ooh, danger. Ooh, fear. Oh, love. Oh, happiness. Like, and I'm just like right into it, and I don't do any of the work. Just gonna say it out loud. Um, yeah, meditation, journeying, get back into it, um, and really, really embrace it this week. I feel like, yeah. So the advice cards are pretty much letting go. First up, everything is indeed out of control, and God will hold it all. I can safely let it go. Right? We can give it to we don't need to be worried about it. Here's what we need to be worried about: the right here, right now, which just kind of came up in a little bit earlier. Stay in the present. Don't get too far ahead of the flow. You'll soon trust that nothing more will come than can be handled in each moment. Yeah, so this is where I kind of like said earlier is like we need to be doing the work. We need to be presenting what we feel, what we want to see, our desires, working on the heart, feeling beauty, feeling our self worth to get these things into our lives, but then not having to like try to then do a whole bunch of things to get it to happen. It's like, it's kind of like present your wish list to the universe. And in fact, that's a great practice. Make a wish list to the universe and then put it away, with some crystals around it, or grid, or whatever you want to do. Um, and don't look, and maybe don't look at it for the rest of cancer season, which is like 22 days or something here. So I just think it's really important to like, we just need to put out what we want and our desires, and then surrender to the process. The universe is like, I got your back and I'm gonna do this. But I need you to just, I need you to chill out a little bit. Because we also got change. When the ego, and again, so ego is us trying to control everything that's happening and get exactly what we want now, right now. Um, when the ego finally sees the utter madness of trying to control everything, oh, this is a great way to finish, you come to a sacred crossroads in your own evolution. That's beautiful because the divine is saying, just put it out there. That's all the work I'm asking you to do. But get clear on it. Get clear on it and get clear on what you value, but also what would create the ultimate situation for you to raise your frequency high enough, right? Like, so, just that you had more time for yourself, or more money, whatever it is you need that you think you need. Just again, make a wish list. That's going to be our goal for this week. And that's going to be the name of this video, Wish List to the Universe. So if we can do nothing else, but I'm going to caveat that just a tiny bit. Go back and do this other steps of what came up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like, where are you devaluing yourself, or where do you not feel beautiful or worthy, or etc., etc., etc. We do want to like look at that stuff, but change our perspective of us trying to control and create everything. Our job is just to put the wish list together. And the wish list does include the things that we need to kind of help us, raise our frequency. So it could even be something as I need more connection to my intuition. That's all we have to put. We don't have to know how it comes or what that's going to look like and like map it all out, because we're just make ourselves crazy in all those details. It's like the wish list is basic, the basics. So I would spend, and again, like I'm just looking at another point of Cancer season is nurture your body. What do you need to do that? Like, do you just need more time open in your day? Do you need more money for food, for going to the spot, like whatever it is? So I'm going to encourage you for this whole week, not just Thursday, Friday, Saturday, is to write your wish list to the universe, and get really clear and concise on um, your values and what you want and what we need moving forward. So again, back to the self work, but that's it's good. We need to just keep the train on its tracks, everybody. Keep looking forward. But we got to do the work. We got to do our job here. All right, that's my Thursday through Saturday, and we'll sum up the week and then see where we head from there. Alrighty, let's sum up this week, even though it kind of feels like it did that for us in that last part. But let's take a look. And then, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that Sunday is the full moon, Sunday, Monday. So I will definitely be trying to put something up for Holding Space Sunday. And it'll be the regular moon read. Meditation wise, I'm going to shoot for something again around pertaining to this read about our, not just our wish list to the universe, but some of the heart healing, and dropping into that self-worth, self-love. So I'll take a look at that for a meditation. So hopefully you'll join me Sunday, and hopefully I get it put out. It's just been crazy the last couple of weekends because, like I said previously, like Sunday and Monday are my days off. So Sunday becomes like my Saturday, and I tend to go out and, hang out and do things. Anyway, okay, so the first card I got for the sum up is the Hanged One, which in the tarot is the Hanged Man. And it's funny because the thing I want to point out first before I read it is how much water. Again, we got like a shit ton load of Cancer season cards in this reading about water, emotion, all of those things. So again, traditionally in the tarot, the Hanged Man is representing perspective and looking at things from a different perspective, right? So in this case, when you're upside down, the world is a completely different perspective to you than it is. So what this says is, my sacrifice will strengthen my devotion to the divine and deepen my compassion for all beings. All right, let's break this down because it does go with what we're trying to do. The sacrifice part, though, is, I feel like it's a little bit of a word, but what I'm getting from is that it's not the sacrifice of like giving up something. This is the sacrifice of, well, this is about doing the work, right? About meditating and taking, you might have to sacrifice something else, like, but you could sacrifice something that's no longer serving you, like instead of playing video games for 4 hours, I'm going to take one of those three and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do my self work and my self worth, and I'm going to connect to the divine and deepen my compassion for all beings. Because remember, I said at the beginning, this is getting into the beginning part where it was about we are going to have to find that unconditional love for everyone, everything, every being, everyone. It's not going to be easy because, especially as truths come out, and you know, we do live in a place of duality right now, and there are perceived goodies and baddies, and when baddies have done some terrible, horrific things, it's gonna it's gonna hurt to see that stuff, and there's gonna be anger. Um, but again, if we keep just pushing, hate from one side to the other and keep volleying that back and forth, we don't get anywhere. We just keep the hate going, right? It's about stopping and um, changing the frequency of it with unconditional love. Man, I know that's like hard. I'm gonna have a hard time with it. Sometimes you just want to slap somebody across the face for what they did. Anyway, not promoting violence. Anyway, let's go on. But I mean, I do have to say, this is perfectly just summed up everything in that one card. We could have just left it. Interesting. We got consistency. Um, the first thing coming up, well, there's the full moon, so coming up in a few days. The sun, though, every time the sun comes up in a card, it's still going to be, you know, sending us a ton of energy and things going on, right? The consistency card, it's just, it's the wrap on our hands going, okay, listen, you have to do your work. Like, sit down and just do it. Like, be consistent. Be consistent. Um, and again, 5 minutes a day. Like, and real 5 minutes a day, not just the lip service. I'm just talking to myself here, right? Like, not just sitting down going, okay, I'm just going to meditate for 5 minutes. Okay, but is that doing anything for you? If it's not, then it's not working. It's not resonating. Don't use it. Um, maybe journaling is your thing. Whatever it is. But like really we got to answer these questions about value and self-worth and where we're headed and what we want. And I'm not kidding about this wish list to the universe. Maybe you have to write it every day or just one point today. And it's not just one point, but you really, detail what we're thinking about with that. So, okay, consistency. Let's let's see if this portal card will give us some big clarity. Yeah, I drew this before we started. I wanted to know the overall uh, theme of the week, and this is going to sum it up because it is the overall theme. The Venusian Venus Galactic Council, Venusian Galactic Council. They are our star being guides. They are here, is what they're saying. They are like, really, like, envelop me in the energy right now of self worth and beauty. So appreciating the beauty. So that could also be a list you want to write. What are the beautiful things in this world? There's lots of them. We could go on for days. Anyway, this card is just them stepping forward and saying, even though Venus is in shadow, she's moving retrograde soon, and they've come in. It's so funny. It's just like this, like almost like my heart is like growing two sizes. I'm not the Grinch. Yeah, no, they're like strongly just we're like, we're here. We're here to help. We're gonna help you guys figure out their perspective on self-worth and beauty in this world. The second word is answer the call. So as soon as this energy hits you, like I feel it right here and into like whatever that, like that emotion of like of unconditional pure love, right? And as soon as you connect into that, answer the call and see what they what what they need of us. It's time for us to shine. It's just time for us to answer the call and time to shine. Look at those beautiful light beams. Yeah, it's funny. They came right in with this card. It was like, well, bam. It's still there. It's great. It's a good feeling. So you could even intentionally ask to connect to that. Just so the Venusian Light Council. Oh, Galactic Council. Sorry, they're still light beings. Anyway, okay. I know that's a lot for the week, but it's not also like heavy duty work. So just just commit to doing a little bit. Starting to, we all got to get ourselves in tune for this perfect harmony, right? The perfect symphony. We I don't think we're going to be asked to perform it soon, uh, but but it is, you know it is coming, and we have to get ourselves ready. It's like I'm kind of getting the analogy of like as if we were talking about a symphony orchestra. Each person, again, that individuality card, each person has their own plan and lessons on this earth, and we're all doing our own thing. What works for me is not always going to work for somebody else out there. But let's put it in the phrase of like, you have your instrument and I have mine. They are played completely differently, every different instrument. The notes are all the same though, right? We play the notes the same. You have to, it might be different hand positions for a note or you know, but so we all play the same notes to make the symphony. But if we go in without practicing or having our instruments tuned up, this is all it's asking us to do is we're just doing some tuning, some fine tuning right now um, on ourselves. And then when we get together, we will play the perfect symphony, the perfect harmony. But we have to do that work leading up to it by ourselves, for ourselves, because that's, we got to get the instrument ready, right? And everybody's responsible for their own individual thing at this time until the symphony comes together. We don't know when our performance is going to be, but we have to be practicing. We have to be ready. We can't just pull the instrument out of the closet at the 100th hour and hope that it's in tune and blow it and not play the perfect note. So do the work. Do the work. I'm talking to myself here. I'm not just talking about you guys out there, but you'll know what I mean. All right, that's the week. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you on Sunday for the moon read and a meditation. I will get those done. I promise this week I will do it. Okay, have a good week, and we will talk to you then. Go out and write your wish list to the universe. Okay? I love you guys. Take care.